got one of our own. She's been very, very consistent. She's been very much with us right from the very beginning of this program. She happens to be the CEO and the CEO of Zane Kiddies. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm not talking of any other person other than our own dear Chinwe Dada. Could you please put your hands together for her even as she comes? Could you please put those hands together for Chinwe Dada as she comes to share her experience with us?
We need you here.
We'd like to hear something from you because we know you've been very much around.
Put your hands together for her, please.
You've been part of this program from the very inception, and you've benefited a great deal in one way or the other. So please, ladies and gentlemen, let's continue clapping even as she comes to share a bit of her experience with us. You're welcome, ma'am.
Thank you.
Yes, please.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Chinwe Dada, the CEO of Zane Kiddies. We're the biggest and the best children's store in Warri. Yes, you have to blow your trumpet.
Nobody will do it if you do not do it.
One of the things I have learned from the past editions of this seminar, I remember the one we had concerning savings, investments, and real estate. I actually used to be a banker, and we used to always encourage people to put money in fixed deposits, savings accounts, and all that. But when we learned here about the best ways to save and invest money for old age, I realized that, I hope some of my colleagues are not here. They will not say because I've left, I'm spoiling their markets. Those are not very strong ways of investing money if you really want high yield. So we learned a lot about stock exchange, real estate, and being able to have the discipline to plow back all the interest and the dividends from all these investments into the business. I also learned that as business people, we have to learn to separate our personal income from the company's income. I remember Mama said, as a CEO, you should pay yourself salary. And when the salary is finished, it's finished. The money of the company is not your money. Like I remember the MC was saying, if you're a wife and your husband asks you for money from the business, what do? Well, it's not your money. So you can't afford to give out your business money. So I learned that we have to learn as business owners to separate ourselves from the company's money. If not, we will continue to pinch and pinch. If you have 1 million and you remove 10,000, you have spoiled the money. The money I've spoiled. So by the time you keep removing 10,000 here, 5,000 here, 2,000 here, before you know it, the money is all gone. So that discipline and ways to invest is one of the key things I took away from the second edition of this seminar. Thank you.
Okay. All right, quickly put your hands together for her. That was a beautiful one. We'll move over now to the next item on our program, and that is the citation. We are just about getting set for our dear mother to come and teach us this afternoon. But before that, I believe the media crew are ready for the citation. Thank you.
Pastor Helen Oritsejafor was born in Nigeria, and by the special grace of God, she is married to an anointed man of God, Papa Joseph Oritsejafor, a one-time CAN and PFN president in Nigeria. Their union is blessed with 3 amazing children, Ayodeta, Ayodeji, and Ayodele Oritsejafor. Her husband Papa refers to her as the actualizer. She is a mentor to millions of people around the world.
And stand the test of time in Africa and in the world at large, Bertha the CEO's company.
Apart from the fact that we want to see how we can grow your business, make it more successful, have a better bottom line, But the aspect that I'm really going into has to do with sustainability, because quite a number of businesses are existing for existence sake. You know, after 5 years of operation, they just close down. Some, once the founder, leaves the show of this heart, that becomes the end of that business. So through this mentorship class, we want to see what is going to create a difference in their businesses. I'm very happy, that quite a number of people will be able to get for free what has taken 30 years to pick up.
The CEO's Company is a mentorship class aimed to enlighten business owners, directors, managers, corporate institutions, and business-oriented individuals on how to do businesses and to be successful at it, thereby closing the gap in the corporate world. Mama Helen, with over 30 years of experience that cannot be found in books, gives you information on how to develop skills and knowledge that will help maximize your business potentials and improve your performance.
I expect my eyes to be open, to see things that I've probably not seen.
Expecting to hear some new things about business.
I expect networking.
I expect that as I'm coming for the mentorship, that I'll have more knowledge than what I used to know before and do better in my business.
Well, I've actually come to be able to learn the secrets on how we can build transactional brands.
And I expect mentorship.
The CEO's Company, which had a maiden edition in June 16th with a vision to be the largest and most effective headspring corporate mentorship class that knowledgeably aids sustainability and growth of businesses globally, is set to practically and tactically take you by hand through your business to give you channels of success increase with access to the business knowledge and guidance.
I think if the business community has its privileges before, the business in our community would have been doing very, very great. But that I think she's here to fulfill God's mandate in her life, and I'm privileged to be one of them. So I just want to thank God. It's a phenomenon, and I've learned a lot about it. And I assure you I'm coming back to learn more.
The CEO's Company, with its secretariat at the International Gospel Center of Word of Life Bible Church, also has its organized and well-structured managers, coordinators, and directors geared with the energy to make you succeed in business. At the CEO's Company, you're inspired with new ideas, network, and learn new business strategies. The CEO's Company ventures in learning and adventures in enterprise. You can follow us on all our social media handles: facebook.com/The CEO's Company, twitter.com/The CEO's Company, instagram.com/The CEO's Company. Thank you.
CEO GP.
The hour has come for us to do the needful. Ladies and gentlemen, if you've not been attending this program, thank God you are here today. Our own very dear Mama Helen Oritsejafor is a woman with a knack for integrity, a woman whose conscience is the vast expanse of humanity, a woman of substance, a visionary. Time will not permit me. I will, of course, want to bore you further because the citation has been done already. Ladies and gentlemen, please, if you agree with the little that I've said, kindly be on your feet, put those hands together as we most welcome Mama Helen Oritsejafor. I thought the clapping would be so resounding that this hall will turn into a thunderous setting. The International Gospel Center, the eagle place of the International Gospel Center.
Thank you very much indeed. You may be seated. I sincerely want to appreciate everyone who has taken their time to be here today. How many of us want to make a difference? You want to make a difference. This is all what this gathering is all about. Differentiating ourselves in the marketplace and making a statement so that customers or would-be customers can be so delighted to having us enlisted as those to be patronized. And I know without a shadow of doubt that we're going to enjoy each other. I am so delighted to also have in our midst the chairman of Oritsejafor local government, the director from the Superdec. Those are the ones I heard when I came in, and I'm sure so many have been announced. I think I also know that I have some of my colleagues from the banking industry, Omokabe, and so on. Some of them, all the business gurus and wonderful people. Please celebrate each other right now. I think it would be a good thing for me to start by at least letting us know what is the brain behind the CEO's company. I haven't been in the marketplace for over 30 years. It comes to mind, especially when you have to compare what is obtainable in the developed countries such as the US, Europe, and what have you. Seeing companies that have been in existence dated back as far as 200 and 300 years. But when you come to Africa, and then of course to be precise, Nigeria, you do not see even a company lasting up to 50 years. What makes it worse is that the founder, once the founder takes his exit bow, the next thing that takes place is that the fortune of the company begins to dwindle. So we do not have companies that have been able to outlive their founders. If I start mentioning names, some might feel offended, so I'll leave them. But I'll leave you to think about what I'm talking about now. I do not want to establish organizations that will not outlive me. I want organizations that when I'm gone, I'm not ready yet. It will mean that, okay, yes, the organizations are still doing and doing very well for that matter. And I would also want us to also commend this journey together as CEOs, MDs of various organizations and managers as alike. So, we started a CEO's company, and today's is a 4th edition of the CEO's company. Thank you again for being here. Thank you so very much. Okay. I hope my people would not. Moses, come over, please. Sorry. It's not moving. Whilst the technical people are trying to put that in order, maybe I should just say one or two things about Helen Oritsejafor. That's my name, just in case if you don't know. And then, of course, my husband sends his love and greetings, our own father, the Lion of Africa. That's what I call it. I started calling him that name, really. I started calling it because I saw in him a man with a large heart, a man that loves people, who would do anything and everything for the betterment of mankind. And I just coined that name for him and labeled it on him and called him the Lion of Africa. And I think even when he roars as one, doesn't he? For those of us who know him. But starting my life, 4 years old, losing my mother, and having to grow up in a polygamous home, one would have thought that that would have been the end of my life. But because of determination, and of course having God by my side, which is the prerequisite of success, I'm standing here today. The CEO's company with Mama Helen Oritsejafor, capacity building, blah, blah, blah. Theme: building a strong and successful brand in a turbulent economy. What is brand? That's the opening statement. You might have your own definition, such as ours. There are many competitors out there. Image becomes associated with a level of credibility, quality, and satisfaction in the consumer's mind. Thus, brands help hurried customers to you. Consumers in consumer products brands use the house of brands strategy. That is, the product itself is the primary brand rather than the company. Take, for example, the following products: Pattern, Duracell, Nespero, and Uncle Toby's. Most consumers would have trouble identifying them with companies that produce them or own them. Procter & Gamble, I'm sure some of us might know about Procter & Gamble. They're into, over 80 products, but people really don't so much know about the owners, but they identify with the brands they've been able to create. To keep to time. How do you build, maintain, and grow a strong brand? It's a delicate social media post, event, phone call, and transaction contribute to your company's brand reputation. And that's why it is so vitally important, that we see this as an important aspect of developing a strong organization, which translates to brand, and then having a good bottom line at the end of the day. Although your brand is mostly intangible, if you're in a service company, it is your responsibility to guard. Every decision your company makes affects your brand. And again, every decision your company makes affects your brand. And without unifying vision, you are likely to dilute or damage your brand. Whether through inconsistent messaging, ineffective marketing, or ill-informed business choices. I'm from the banking industry. When you send out marketers and they're supposed to go deliver some things to customers, you never get to see what takes place. The backlash of it is the customer pulling out, or one thing or the other, whether for lack of rendering quality service to that customer. It's a big deal in the service industry, even in the production as well. Whether through inconsistent messaging, ineffective marketing, or ill-informed business choices. So how do you effectively avoid common pitfalls and grow into the future with a documented brand strategy? How do we do that? What is a brand strategy? It's your strategy for how you and your team will build, shape, and share your brand. It's the articulation of what your brand is and aspires to be. It is the purpose itself and how you communicate it to the world. It's a documented plan for brand success. Many times when we talk about branding, we never really sit down to document stages on how we intend to actualize it. It just leaves the table. We might even invite a consultant to come and teach us, and perhaps we even have a forum like this whilst we go through seminars and so on. But a proper documentation on a strategic plan that is going to drive your brand, no matter what you're selling, whether you're in the banking industry, you're in the oil sector, or whether you're into construction, or you are simply a man who brings in goods from abroad selling, somebody else's product, whatever it is, you need to be able to intentionally craft strategic plans, or should I say, a template that would help to drive that particular brand of yours. And it's not an individual thing, it must be a teamwork. It's the articulation, this is where I am. It's the articulation of what your brand is and aspires to be, the purpose it serves, and how you communicate it to the world. It's a documented plan for brand success. What do you need a brand strategy for? A brand strategy is the plan for how you will connect your company to the people it serves. How you will connect your company to the people it serves. I'm looking for an example. It's so easy for us to, let's say, okay, fine. I'm a motor dealer. Maybe I should start one. Okay, now, no. That was just a little one on the side. I'm a motor dealer, and then I have my shop at the back side of, where's the poorest place in Warri? Okay, and I'm not being very, whatever. Okay, so leave it in your mind. Leave it in your mind, all right? But then you're selling Mercedes, you're selling Jaguar, and then you go place it over there. Who is going to buy them? Nobody's going to buy it. Wrong location. Wrong location. Wrong location. And then, of course, not also knowing who your customers are. It's a big challenge. In other words, having a market segment whereby you direct your products to those to the users without having to start begging them, to patronize you, for them to patronize you. In continuation, those who work for it and those who support it through their patronage. This is an important series of relationships, so it's important for it to be intentional. The customer brand dynamic has significantly changed over the last century, even the last decade. It's evolved from a transactional relationship based on product features to an emotional relationship based on shared beliefs and principles. This is simply say, own your customer, right? You need to own them. You need to own them. And you own them by being a part of their lives. You do not want to say you have a business relationship with your customer who you are just interested in collecting his or her money. It's the only time you see him or you see her is when he or she comes to your business premises to transact business. But in owning him, in forming an alliance, in encouraging an emotional tie with your customer simply means to care about how that customer is or feels, or how the customer lives, what is going on. A little phone call, blah, 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 and all this stuff. They're having marriage ceremony, you attend. You're having burial, you're there. That is owning, that's building loyalty. Emotional tie. One of the reasons why the chairman of our local government is here is because he's our chairman. Okay, he has to interact with the people. He's not going to be chairman in the office, but he has to be chairman by interaction. Praise the Lord. All right, so give him a hand. Don't be economical with that. According to the 2017 Communication CRS study, 87% of consumers stated they would purchase a product based on brand values. Everybody say perception. We're going there. How how would you know that a product can actually offer value to you? We're getting there gradually. For brands to succeed, they must skillfully attract and build genuine relationships with people in an authentic and transparent way. But if you as a brand don't know who you are or how to communicate it, you can't form those relationships. That's why having a brand strategy matters. It's not just about your customer relationship either. Having a brand strategy also helps you to build a healthier business. A 2016 Imperative LinkedIn study found that 85% of companies with a clearly articulated and understood purpose experienced positive growth, while 42% of companies that didn't experience dropped in revenue at the end of the day. Beyond the bottom line, a brand strategy also helps you to cultivate a happier company culture and stronger relationships with your employees as well. Because then if you can articulate what your brand stands for, then it is very easy for you to be able to have your workers fall in line and support what you are intending to build. It's extremely important. According to the Imperative LinkedIn study, 73% of purpose-driven employees are satisfied with their job when they know what the organization stands for, what the brand is all about. They can push it out adequately. When you work for a company with a well-articulated brand strategy, I've said that. Let's move on because of that. Unfortunately, according to the 2017 State of Branding Report, only 51% of employees were familiar with their company's brand strategy. So, since we know that this has been a big challenge right there in the industry, it is not branding. It's not just about advertisement. It goes beyond that. It goes beyond coming up with leaflets and inviting people to come to your shop or what have you. It goes beyond that. So, from the next stage of our learning today is to launch out how to create a brand strategy. Although having a documented brand strategy is so important and so beneficial, not every brand has one. According to On Brand Magazine's 2017 State of Branding Report, 21% of respondents didn't. That's very poor. If you're ready to create a brand strategy but don't know where to start, you're in the right place today. To streamline and consolidate the brand strategy process, which can already feel overwhelming, we've created a simplified framework and step-by-step process to walk you through creating your brand strategy. And we've included our best tips, examples, exercises, and templates to make the process a little easier. Now, we couldn't attach the template because of the volume, so that we don't sleep here today. But evidently, by the time we're done with the presentation, that would also be available with this material going forward. Before you dive in, make sure the appropriate stakeholders are involved from the beginning. So, the elements of a brand strategy. To get a sense of what a brand strategy involves, we've broken the process down into 3 main phases, each build on before to help you think through. Some things are missing by the side for aspiration and execution. Anyway, this is just to water your mouth. Here's what each phase entails: the goal and the elements you'll be documenting during the process. Phase: discovery. Go. Take an objective look at your industry, your target customers, and your brand. elements. Audit and assess existing core identity. Market research and analysis, persona development, brand perception. In identity or face goal and elements, identity, articulate who you are, what you do, and how to talk about it. Elements, define or refine core identity, brand positioning, value prop, tagline, messaging architecture. Next to it is execution. Identify the tools to help you communicate your brand story. Under elements, brand guidelines, content strategies. These are the things that I'm going to be looking into very quickly. Note, different brands will have different needs depending on their goals and brand maturity. The elements we've included here are what we consider to be the core structure of a strong brand strategy. You may add or edit depending on your needs. Phase 1, discovery. Before you refine and articulate your identity, it's important to understand your existing identity and take an objective look at the factors that influence how you present yourself. Everybody say me. Ha. Beautiful. It's extremely important. It doesn't matter how much you spend on your product or brand. You must first and foremost understand that you are the brand yourself. You are. When we're talking about Word of Life today, we don't look too far. We know who Word of Life is, number one, right? Yes, so that's the way it is. Okay? And thank God the man who is at the aim of affairs represents the brand very well. Word of Life is a brand. Yeah. I hope you know that. Thank you. You see, I'm a very good wife. See, I got you there, didn't I? All right. So, and take an objective look at the factors that influence how you present yourself, including your industry, your target customers, and your brand. You can't walk into my office saying that you want to sell a product to me, and I look at you from head to toe. You're looking like someone who is coming from Ariara market. Well, because of my nature, I'll be attentive and all that, because even a little child can walk up to me and talk to me. But on a general note, you definitely push the person away. And then, of course, confidence, heart to what you're trying to sell as well. If you're not confident of the product you're trying to give me to drink, how am I going to drink it? Okay, so these are some of the things we're talking about. The ability to project, because there is human face in every brand. Audit and assess existing core identity. Your core identity is the essence of your brand and brand strategy. It's the why, what, and how of your company. I'm going to repeat that again. The why, what, and how of your company. Why do we have it's Ascertain that actually produced that for us, by the way. Okay, so where is the why behind it? What is it for? To drink, right? But can we also use it to cook? Can we also use it to do something else? Can we use it as a gift? And today we're using it right now, in a different form. And how your company is encapsulated in your company's vision, sometimes called purpose, mission, and values. Vision, why your company exists. I had to introduce this because then I know that I'm not just dealing with a gathering that have all the wherewithal, but even sometimes I've looked into some big organizations' vision, and I see it as a storytelling that is completely off from what the company represents. So this is really on point. Why your company exists, mission, what your company does, values, how do you do what you do. It's likely you already have a version of this documented, whether it is the general gist or a page-length mission statement engraved on the floor of your lobby. Take a collective look at what you have articulated to determine whether it is accurate and relevant. Exercise. You will articulate and document your core identity later. But for now, you want to have a general discussion about your existing identity. What's missing or ill-defined? What is it that is no longer relevant? What emerged organically in your culture but isn't quite captured? What is most compelling? This is also a good time to review and discuss any of the content or brand messaging you already have out there. Does this content properly convey your identity? That's the question. What would you emulate or avoid going forward? Market research and competitive analysis. To help you appropriately identify and position yourself, you need to understand where you stand in the marketplace and in relation to your competitors. Doing so enables you to carve out a niche for your brand and do something original that will connect with your current and future customers. Exercise 1, market research. Identify how big the market is, what the opportunities are, and how these things are changing and expected to change over time. I've seen some even banks locating a branch of their organization in a place like Warri, for example, without a proper market research. Because they just believe that Warri is an oil area, and then whether you like it or not, it will try. But that's not generally true. Identify how big the market is, what the opportunities are, and how these things are changing and expected to change over time. It's very important. Some high-level information and insight can be found online for free, such as industry associations, trade publications, and major research organizations. Do a market research. But many of the gold nuggets of insight come from you doing your own independent one, like user audience polls to more scientific survey design. It is better to do that. You can just send 2 people out there or engage 3 people and say, please, I just need you to help me do a research over this area. I want to know the demographics. I want to have the general information, the age, the male, how many they are, and so on and so on, their pause in terms of income and all that stuff, so that whatever I'm going to be situating in that place will be able to meet the need in that environment. It's most important to take the time up front to home in on the specific questions you want to answer about your market. But don't get overwhelmed by focusing on the entire industry. Just focus on your total addressable markets. I call it TAM. Exercise 2, competitive analysis. Identify who the older players in your market are. This is not, there is nothing bad in you finding out what others are doing and how they are doing it well. It helps you, it enables you to be able to have your own, develop your own strategic plan You know, this is not to develop hatred, but more or less to equip yourself in the business that you do, so that you do not have a situation where your competitors seem to have a better advantage over you. We're trying to build a solid hedge here, a solid hedge, that will position you out there strongly, amongst your competitors. And how they are similar or different from you. Focus on surveying brands you currently compete with and brands you aspire to compete with as well. Competitive analysis tends to be a lengthier process to walk through, but it's worth the time spent. As you research the competition, notice how they present themselves, how they talk about their products and services. What do you perceive to be their strengths, their weaknesses? Put yourself into the mind of one of your potential customers. What might lead them to choose you over a competitor of yours, and vice versa? It's very eye-opening stuff. Few different ways to plot them, as can include polarities, like traditional versus contemporary, people-focused versus automated and scalable, niche versus comprehensive, etc. Example. I have to run because I'm going somewhere that I think might be very juicy, and I do not want to take much time. Okay, so you can see the draft that I have here: high cost, low cost, low quality, high quality, competitor 1, 3, and so on. Even if you don't really see how your brand differentiates on the grid, it's valuable to see where the white space is, or where none of your competitors currently play. Remember, this is the whole exercise of brand strategy. You want to know what they are doing. You want to know how best they are doing it. There's nothing bad in doing that. They say copycat is bad. Fine. You don't have to copy, but you can tweak it, to better whatever it is you represent. That is your brand now. So it's extremely important. Let me move forward because of that. Depending on your size and your budget, you may want to hire an agency to do this work. If you're a smaller or newer brand, you may have to do this work yourself. Even if you're able and willing to pay someone else to lead this work on your behalf, you should remain highly involved. Persona development. Personas are an articulation of your target customers. A demographic and psychographic mapping of would-be customers. Who they are, who are they? What is their spending method? Are they the kind of people that, they don't, because they earn big, so they can lose some money and they wouldn't feel it? Or are they those who would hold their money very close to their chest? Or are they those who comes from my holding days, because I can't say my parents and they were far educated, but maybe great-great-great-grand, who believes in keeping money under the pillow and somewhere else that you know. Okay? You want to know that even though they have money. Do you know, when I did a research, because I love to research, when I did it about 3 years ago, about 5 or 7 years ago, I discovered that unbanked money that we have in Nigeria is far more than what is in the bank. At least 80% unbanked money. 80% of unbanked money. And meanwhile, how many banks do we have in Nigeria and so on? But we all just dole on each other. It's the same money. just going round and round and round, because we have not been able to unravel how we can tap from all this unbanked money lying fallow out there. So you want to know who they are, how they operate, what they care about, and the problems they need solved. That is how to get personal. This is a crucial element of brand strategy. If you don't know who you are talking to, your communication will get lost in the habits or come off as tone deaf or both. Shockingly, only 47% of respondents in the 2017 State of Branding Report said their strategy includes a deep understanding of personas. That said, crafting personas doesn't mean only collecting demographic data. The goal is to gain a sense of what makes the people you are trying to connect with tick. You want to know. Can you tell somebody and say, I want to know? I need to know. For example, column 5's personnel include details about everything from what keeps people up at night to what podcasts they listen to, e.g., career stagnation, NPR, marketplace podcast. I've put all that together. I might not be able to show you now. Exercise. To get this info, you will need to ask will-be customers a robust set of questions via in-person chats, emails, surveys, etc. Follow our step-by-step guide to create personas. I actually put that together, which also includes the question template we use to build ours. Note, approaching this exercise with empathy is crucial. Listen to what they need before you focus on what you want to say. That's the biggest challenge in our country. We love to talk. Nigerians love to talk. I think it's very innate, it's part of us on a general note. Okay? So the ability to listen to what somebody else is saying sometimes is a big challenge. And the only way you can know what is going on in the heart of someone is by paying attention, listening. What people want to hear versus what your brand wants to say. What do they want to hear? Perception. If you want to succeed as a brand, it's important to be honest, even if it's painful about how people perceive your brand. You need to know, how do they feel? It's important. Don't just assume. It's like developing a plan to get out of credit card debt. Step 1, find out how much credit card debit you are in. If you do not know where you come from, then you don't know where you are. And of course, you will never know where you're going. And if you don't know where you're going, you're probably not going anywhere or going towards the wrong direction. By conducting both an internal and external perception audit, you will start to notice similarities and discrepancies in perception. This insight will help you understand the gap between where you are or have been or where you want to be. It's only in Africa that we like to associate with people who like to possibly lie to us. Starting from politicians, I'm so sorry. Praise singers. We literally hire praise singers, people who will just go about, sweet talking us and telling us what we love to hear. There are times you need to hear criticism in order for your business to grow. Someone like me, I love feedback. I will never forget, the chairman, local government, has your right or your daughter, children. And one of them, I won't give you all the details, but anyhow, gave me a call concerning one of them. And then later on, I found an opportunity to find out from him, how is that? I moved his word out of my school. And I wouldn't want him to do that. So we need to be very open to criticism. We need to be, of course, objective criticism, definitely. You want to listen to someone who cares about you, right? But even when they don't care and they are saying it anyway, go back to your drawing board and see what they are saying. Maybe it is true. And if it is not true, then do something to change the perception. Because sometimes perception is more real than facts. I'm going to repeat that again. Perception is more real than facts. Many times, especially in the service industry, it is how people perceive your product that will encourage patronage. If they think that your product is of no value, then they will not, even though you are rendering quality services, but they will never be able to acknowledge that because you have never been able to create a beautiful perception for your organization. So, by conducting both internal and external perception audit, you will start to notice similarities and discrepancies in perception. It's very important. Do that. Let's move. Exercise. At this stage, you will distill and document your past, present, and future perceptions. Past. If you've been around for a while, you should know what people used to think of you. Whether it is through customer emails, reviews, etc. You should know. This should be easy to articulate. Present. More or less conducting a SWOT analysis on your organization. SWOT meaning X, their strengths, W, it's weaknesses, opportunities, O, T is threats. Give yourself a hand. Present. So find out what people think of you right now. Survey your customers and employees. Note, include both happy and unhappy customers in this survey. And that's why you see bankers, we normally do customer forum. Even though sometimes now the customer forum of this day is more or less to try and get them to continue for patronage, not really getting into the integrity about what is really going, because you don't want everybody to hear what is smelling. So, we like to do all that. But it's very important, if you have a strong voice in that fora, that person might be able to help clean up whatever negative perception there is. But it is always important to let them know, because we're tired of organizations failing every now and then. We're trying to build a solid structure here that will outlive us. It is my prayer that whatever organization you represent here today, be yours or you're at the echelons of managerial position, may the Lord God Almighty keep you and keep that organization. So, note, include both happy and unhappy. We said that. Simply ask these two questions. What do you think of when you think of brand? The particular whatever in question. Where are you? It's like, would you be a customer of that particular brand? Future. The insight from your perception audit should help you identify opportunities to improve and articulate what you aspire to be. Can you buy from you? I guess that's what we're talking about here. If you're selling clothing, can you wear it? If you're producing something, what you want to communicate for your vision, mission, state, everyone can live a happy, healthy life. I just came up with that. Mission, what your company does. Why do we do good, work with good people and so on. Through trusting partnerships, we build and distribute powerful visual, blah, 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 as a CEO's company. Column 5. Let's go. We don't want to go in. Exercise. The challenge of this exercise is to use simple, succinct language to articulate your core identity. Imagine each word costs $1 million. Naturally, you want to be as economical as possible. Remember, BRFT, brevity makes it easier for your team to remember. Already shed some light on that. Brand positioning. Your brand positioning is an articulation of what different you can encapsulate your positioning in a one-sentence description that explains what you do better than everyone else. If you ask me at a GV, which I will not tell you, what we do better in some of the organizations I represent, I can tell you quickly. But then I wouldn't know if I have some of my competitors here. So that's not what I'm going to share. And marketing all those efforts means to reinforce this position. You can, okay, I've done that. Exercise. There are many different formulas to find your positioning. Here is a simple prompt from Branding Pro Material Numero that helps identify your specific position. I went into that. Our offering is the only one category that benefits our offering. I don't know, I think, yes. I think one of our speakers a while ago said something that I really loved. He says, we want to be the biggest and the best. You know, and I said, yes, wow, come on. Tell the story, baby. That's good to hear. Value proposition. Your value prop is a succinct explanation of both the functional and emotional benefits for your product or service provides to customers. It's not just who you are and what you do differently, aka your positioning. It's also how you solve their problem. Business is all about solving problem, really. Somebody is thirsty, so you provide water. Someone has no shoes, so you produce shoes, and all that stuff. It is only when we just sell or do business because others are doing it, that's when it becomes a problem. At that time, we do it not minding the audience or will-be customers, and then we run into serious problems. Why should I choose you over your competitor? Why? That is the why. Why should I choose you? You can also think of it as the promise of what they will receive if they buy from you. It's important that you have this question answered for yourselves before anyone asks. Tagline. The tagline is an extension of your brand position. This term is also used interchangeably with slogan, which serves as a rallying cry. It is often an interpretation of the value props as well, most likely. Your tagline will complement both your position and value prop. Messaging architecture. When it comes to the content and communication, you need a uniform way to talk about your brand, both internally and externally. Messaging architecture helps to do this, giving you the language, words, and descriptions to communicate what you do, how you do it, and what makes you different. Luckily, as you move through this brand strategy exercise, you're organically building your messaging architecture from the top down. To complete it, you just need to identify brand stories that support your overall messaging. If I ask you about what your brand represents, what will be your story? What are you going to tell me? How are you going to get me to come and buy from you? Why should I leave all these other stores and go to yours? Why? What's the edge? What kind of edge do you have over others? What are the overriding edge that you have? Or edges as well. Positioning, value prop, we've talked about that. Exercise. Choose 3 significant brand stories, aka talking points, that reinforce your value proposition and include supporting points for those stories. For example, a cookie company might use healthy ingredients, unique recipes, and distinct flavors as their 3 main stories. What's your story? What's your story? If you have a paper and pen there, maybe you can just dribble something. That would be lovely. Your brand stories are particularly helpful to inspire new content ideas or tailor your messages to different groups of people, channels, etc. Every element of communication from your blog post to your employee orientation materials should reflect your messaging architecture in some way. What's your story? Can you help me echo it out for someone there? Thank you very much. Good student you are. For example, this snippet of homepage code, blah, blah. Let me move on. Time. Helen. Phase 3, execution. Once you know who you are and what your brand story is, the challenge is to effectively communicate it, particularly through marketing. You have to do that. Brand guidelines. Brand guidelines are the culmination of all your previous work. It is a document that serves as a playbook for how to use brand. I've made it very easy for you. I've developed some of them, specifically in the content and communication you create. This is especially important if you work with freelancers or outside agencies. Your brand guidelines should include enough direction that anyone references it has the knowledge to create work that strengthens the brand instead of weakens it. Please remember, a brand's strength is determined by its consistency. You can take a look at our brand guidelines. I developed a verbal guidelines, brand positioning, value prop, messaging, blah, blah, voice and tone, anything else helpful or relevant. Visual guidelines, colors, logos, use fonts and typography, hierarchy, photography, illustration, iconographic, data visualization, interactive elements, video and motion, etc. For the sake of simplicity, we prefer to think of content strategy as part of the larger brand strategy. Brand strategy informs marketing goals, and your marketing goals inform your content strategy. So this is all about how to pull people instead of trying to aggressively hawk your products or services. Your content strategy dictates how you share, how you share your brand. Therefore, having a documented content strategy is so important. It's how you make good of your company vision and ensure you are moving the brand forward. A content strategy includes everything from personas to distribution channels to ultimately the editorial and creative direction of your content follow and so on. Steps to building a brand framework. Your brand identity needs to be clearly understood by your customers. Once they see it, can they immediately say, yes, this is it? Simply put, a brand framework serves as a North Star to point towards what the brand stands for. It also acts as a guide to ensure all marketing touch points build on the brand. Brand essence. This is the title of your company's. Your company story is coming up. Why are you doing what you are doing? It doesn't have to be just a tagline, but a tagline. Some companies will talk about their essence as being the identical to the what, how, and why of their services. There is no one right way to communicate your brand than to be very, 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 very sure of the brand you've decided to develop and the story that backs that brand in order for you to be able to stand the test of time. That even when you are not in the office, the brand is still speaking. Any organization that will require the leader to constantly be there before it functions is not a solid organization. What makes an organization solid is when a proper structure is in place and it runs. Whether the principal officer is there or not, that organization continues to run. That's a solid organization. And that's an organization that will stand the test of time. That even if you don't show up in office for 2, 3, 4, 2 months, the organization will continue to run anyway because it has a solid structure. Is someone calling me? Hello, hi. Kindly help us put it on silence. Thank you. This is your company. 2, brand purpose. This is your company's mission. What does it help customers achieve? Push yourself to create a company purpose that is big and industry changing. Brand differentiators. This supports your brand purpose and what make your company capable of delivering on your brand promise. It should be 100% unique to your company. For example, the Apple Genius Bar is something that is exclusive to Apple. Uniquely human way your company comes to life. When defined, it should include human traits. Affordable is not a human trait. When deciding on your brand personality, ask yourself how your company emotionally connects with your customer. You should be passionate. You should be passionate about the brand you represent. Let it be that, everywhere, whatever you turn to. Before I make 1 or 2 statements, I always make, reference to 1 or 2 very important things in my life. Okay? It's so natural. So if you're representing a brand, then it should also form part of what you say all the time, and then you can defend it. 9 different types of brand. Conscious brand is on a mission to make a positive social or environmental impact or enhance people's quality of life. I decided to just do a bullet form in this area so that we can understand, since I know different industries are represented here. And so I decided to come up with 9 different types of brands that you can easily align yourself with in the industry you represent. So you will have conscious brand. Is on a mission to make a possible social or environmental impact or enhance people's quality of life. Maybe a non-government organization. Service brand consistently delivers high-quality customer care and service. Innovative brand consistently introduces advanced and breakthrough products and technologies. Apple, all these people. Value brand. What do they do? On the storytelling now. Offers lower prices for basic quality. Performance brand. Offer products that deliver superior performance and dependability. Luxury brand. Offers high quality at higher price. Why should I buy Louis Vuitton? Why should I buy Louis Vuitton? Do you know, okay, ladies now, but they also use Louis Vuitton. Their bags and so on. It's not even pure leather. But the finishing is incredible. And the packaging is something else. But people will prefer to buy that than to buy a pure leather bag that has no name because they're not sure of the brand. Luxury brand. Experience brand is differentiated through the experience it provides as much and so on. Disruptive brand, that's Virgin right there. Disruptive brand. Challenges the current ways of doing things and introduces new concepts that substantially change the market. Virgin is very, very strong in that area. Experience brand. Okay, I've done that. Please note these important points about the 9 different types of brand and this approach to clarifying brands. Never mind, don't worry. You have the template. Some characteristics are or should be embraced by all brands. All brands should offer good service, for example, but a brand that falls into the serving brand type makes it the top priority to consistently deliver high quality. If you are not offering quality service, Because that is the only thing. The service industry is very intangible. You can't hold it. It's not like the water you're holding there. It's a promise. It's a promise, and it has to be very, very convincing for you to secure patronage. Let me go because of time. I want to touch on something that I believe will in conclusion, key points to take home. And be mindful of time. Business should not be so mesmerized by the current economic difficulties in this market that companies ignore the enormous long-term economic potential. However, realizing that potential will not be easy, it will not only require a greater emphasis on understanding what are the needs of the customer, but radically different way of approaching them. Packaging. Packaging. The wrapping material around a consumer item that serves to contain, identify, describe, protect, display, promote, and otherwise make the product marketable and keep it clean. Packaging is more than just your product's pretty face. I mentioned a high-end product a while ago. You know, some of us might know about it. But generally, it could even be amala that you are selling. I saw a post yesterday. I almost copied it, but then I forgot. I was actually going to borrow it to use today. I wouldn't know whether it's pounded yam or whatever, but it's a swallow food. And it was done in such a powerful way that I couldn't believe it. I mean, they wrap it up. You know, the swallow food is spread out, and then they put soup, meat, and everything inside it, and had it wrapped up and put it on a plate. Oh. I mean, when I saw that, I said, yes! How do you know I was going to talk shit today? I mean, packaging. Some of us have quality products. We have things we're doing. But in this area, especially in this part of the world, that's where we are unable to sell our furniture. That's where we're unable to sell some of the things we are producing, because we do not know how to package our products. We package them anyhow. You give a tailor to sew clothes for you. The design will be beautiful, but the finishing will be right? I don't even know what that means. I've heard this repeated whatever it means, keep it to yourself. I'm going to ask one of our children. But the truth of the matter is, I wanted to say something. I'm almost to the end. Can you give me a few more minutes, because I want you to say something? Thank you. So, when you look at it, the pretty face, the whatever, and so on, oh my God. Evidently, again, I was saying it when I was out there, and I need to say this, even though I'm running against time, that I'm not much of a good eater. I started eating after marriage. Yesterday, I actually celebrated my 22 years in marriage. Thank you. And so I started eating because then, you know, you have to join your husband to eat as a good wife. And then it's not just that. The very first time I had to eat starch, a go bobo, and everything. because I wanted my husband to know that I'm not Shekiri from head to toe. And when the thing hit the table, and my husband just sat, and the next thing he just said, the starch. The first thing that came to mind is, oh Jehovah, from West we use starch to do our clothes. Where is this going to, my esophagus, something is going to go wrong with this. But after a while, I summoned up courage. I saw the way he was just, and I thought that was just going to be, so I picked mine too. As soon as I rolled by, the thing just left with my plate. My plate just jumped out of, so he had, so plus plates and starch, everything was going straight to my mouth. Anyway, packaging is key. It's very important. Please don't toy with it. Time will not allow me to be able to really say some of the things I would love to say regarding this. Packaging is very important. Okay. So I said product packages, it has value. Reasons why product packages is important, I mentioned that it helps to bring in customers to you. It gives an image of value. It adds value to what you are trying to sell. It differentiates your brand from others, and so on and so forth. To succeed, your brand packaging must stand out and look different from your competitors. It's extremely important you do so. Number 2, packaging color sways customers, purchase habits. If you come up with a very sharp color, you can be rest assured that they would love to patronize you. Product packaging is the marketing tool, and so on and so forth. I have more of the information. Packaging creates brand recognition. They're able to recognize. Keep in mind that recognizable brands should not change a thing, because many successful brands that change their logo, colors, or packaging have seen a sort of backlash from shoppers after making a big change. However, you want to be sure before you make changes, but nevertheless, upgrade, go to the next level. Consumer perception theory. I was talking about the importance of selling your story in such a way that when consumers, see your brand, they will be able to identify with it. They'll be able to identify with it. And it will create a repeated patronage at the end of the day. So, the concept of consumer perception. The Business Dictionary defines consumer perception as a marketing concept that encompasses a customer's impression, awareness, or consciousness about a company or its offering. Typically, customer perception is affected by advertising, reviews, public relations, social media, personal experiences, and other channels. Your customer might have a positive perception of you if they come across your products and your niche during a certain time of the day, but they may hold a negative perception at another time of the day. So you must always find out about this. It's extremely important. This dual perception might not have anything to do with you. Some people are not money people, and the worst time to try to sell, So you need to know the mood swing. That's what this is all about. You need to know the mood swing of your customer. There are times, for example, if there is a little quarrel at home, and then and then you call the madam of the house. Madam, I've just brought lace. You say, seriously? This is not the time for it. I'm trying to get some things resolved in my home, and so on and so forth. So it's very important that you know that. How to understand and influence consumer behavior. I've done a lot of research. I put in a lot of things into this because I want us to be extremely equipped when we go out there to knowing how to really ensure patronage even at this turbulent time. What is consumer behavior? Consumer behavior is the study of individuals and organizations and how they select and use products and services. It is mainly concerned with psychology, motivations, and behavior. When you know how your customer, how customers reason and select between different alternatives, then it will help you to be able to arrange yourself very well. For example, if you're selling, if you have a shop, you're selling shoes and so on and so forth, you must learn to put the right thing out. And the only way you can put the right thing out is to know what is presently trending. If you don't know what is presently trending, you might have the difficulty of actually ensuring patronage and all that. The way you arrange, the way you spread your things also matters a great deal. Because sometimes you run into some customers who just want to rush in, pick one or two things and then get out. So you want to be able to do that. So I now say, these considerations are influenced by three factors. In bullet way, I'll just mention the personal factors, a person's interest and opinion. Opinions could affect that, their gender, culture, profession, background, Talking about demographics, age and all that. Psychological factors also has bearing in actually studying your customer behavior. A person's ability to comprehend information is another thing. Social factors is another. Peer groups and so on. The background, educational background, and so on and so forth also have a part to play in this. Collecting consumer behavior data is also very important. It helps you a great deal to be able to know how to channel your products effectively. Finally, the parable of talents show, So when in looking at all what we have talked about now, you would agree with me that in all, we just want to create a difference. We want to create a difference with whatever brand it is that we represent so that we can ensure a good patronage. The parable of the talent shows that we will be held accountable. The parable of the talent is not just about salvation or works righteousness. Because then when we look at success is not just about me becoming rich and having so much money. Success also has to do with us recognizing the place of God. And that's why I decided to bring this here. To say, okay, hey, Bible also has something to say concerning this. So let's look at what Bible has to say because it's very important. The unfaithful stewards in this parable didn't so much waste the master's money. He wasted an opportunity. As a result, he was judged wicked and lazy. One day, we'll be held responsible for what we do for God with what he has given to us. I truly want to believe that by the grace of God, I've added value today in this gathering, and that you have something to take home with. So, thanks for being here and thanks for sharing today with me. See you at the top. Hope I didn't forget to say I love you, because I really do. Thank you.
Give it up for her. Give it up for her.
If I haven't skipped, that is a very important place. And you can just take 2 minutes of your time I'm going to take. You may want to sit down. If I didn't skip that slide, there's a particular place where I actually mentioned the place of God in all this. When I think about the fact that a man, although born to a family that has average, you can say, comfortable. was completely upside down in terms of life. Everything all completely dark, whether it is being a chain smoker, everything you can think of in life. And one day he came home and said he wants to serve God. Evidently, everyone in the family model says something must have gone wrong with this particular person. Why would you want to serve God? After all, it's not even popular to be one. In the world today, when you talk about born again, people look at you and say, oh, these are idle people. But that's not true. These are people who have come to the understanding that it is not what you have, but it is who you are in Him. And in giving his life to Christ at the end of the day, surrendering his life today, he is not just that young man on the streets that was smoking, that was living a life that has nothing to write home with. But he was once a president of CAN. He was once a president of PFN. He's a father. He has a wife. And then I look at the preamble. I look at the narration, and I'm saying, wait a minute. How can a worry man meet with an Ekiti woman? Where did that come from? You know, by my perception, the first thing that comes to mind is that God has a purpose. With whatever business you are doing today, if it is not connected with God's purpose, you are just wasting your time. Perhaps he would have ended badly, and he wouldn't have been able to fulfill his purpose if he hadn't embraced God. Then road construction, this, that, all sorts of things that I was handling then. And you know, the essential, you know, the most part of my life living in the UK, and finally coming to Nigeria and thinking that I was never going to even smell a place like this. Don't worry, because I've never been there. But because of purpose, losing my mother when I was 4 years old, growing up in a home without a mom. I'm a mother now, so I know the importance of having a mother in your life. With my father's affluence and influence, at that time, he had over 20 cars. A driver would stand by one to say, which one are you taking to go to school? But then when you get back home, house help serving you gari because your mom wasn't alive. Not even knowing. Else has to tell you that your cloth is stained. Hope. One of your life. At 8 years old, I will always tell the story. Almost poisoned. Because I had no mother. Went to an occasion and I was offered, my cousin and I, with some members of my family, we were invited, and I got there, and all I just wanted to do, a young girl of 8 years old, to eat and partake in what was offered, unknown to me that it was poisoned. Told that you have a special plate, and that plate was just meant for you, a big meat and with nice plates. getting to pick the plates with so much from nowhere, hand pushing mine and saying don't, and my cousin picking it, decided for her to eat, and later we allow a girl that everyone said could never be anything become what she is today.
There is power in your name.
It is that same God that has kept me, and that's why I can never bow my head to trouble, because I serve a living God who has delivered me from many. Determined to make it. I just felt that all I needed to do was to get, long as that God, when I was 8 years old, still saved. It is that God of purpose that has brought me here. 22 years later, I'm here speaking to you. Taught about how to push her business forward. And now, with you are lovely. Can I introduce Oritsejafor my to let me know it's not just about making money, but that when you have him, you have him in totality. Thank God, it is an atmosphere where bankers, lawyers, doctors, legal luminaries are comfortably sitting together, that you have no need to be shameful. Can I join your hands with mine today to simply say, Jesus is Lord. If he saved me, he can save you too. Wherever you are in this auditorium, if you want to say yes to that God of purpose, seated wherever you are, just wave. Thank you for waving. Just go on waving. Just continue to wave. Just continue to wave. Can you just take a leap of faith by standing up? Just stand up with me. Stand up with me. Please, as they are doing it, can you just clap for them? The God of purpose. The God of purpose. Continue to wave the hands wherever you are. Just continue to wave the hands. And stand. Can you stand with me? Can you stand? Can you stand? Can you just stand? Don't just sit there. Don't be shy. Don't be shy. Don't be shy. The God of purpose. The God of purpose. You might lose that job tomorrow, but the God of purpose will secure you another. The business might even go then. I was once duped. Even with hitting millions at that tender age, and I thought life was over after I lost so much. But from nowhere, with determination and holding on to the hands of God of purpose, the God of purpose, I started up again just selling little things. That's why I say to people, never give up in life. The only reason why you can give up is if only you depend on yourself. But if you depend on the living God, no man can stop your happening in life. I will want to pray for business owners right now. The God of purpose. If you got that paper and you want me to pray with you, can you just walk up to me? And I want somebody to just take them by the hands and bring them to me right now. Let me pray with them. Let me pray with them. Let me pray with them. Come. Even if you weren't given a paper, you can leave your seat. You can leave your seat and come. Yes. 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 Where are you? I'm still waiting. I'm still waiting. I'm still waiting. I'm still waiting. One thing I've learned with John Maxwell is even though he's the guru trainer, he would always acknowledge his God, giving somebody an opportunity to receive him. I have made up my mind. Just continue to clap. Some of them raise their hands and maybe they are shy. Where are you? Where are you? Bow down your heads. Perhaps when they buy, the ones that are bold enough to come out, when they are going to that side, you too can leave. I don't want to embarrass you. Say with me, Father, I come before you as a sinner. If there any way I've sinned against you, you can say it where you are seated as well. If there be any way I've sinned against you, I am sorry. Forgive me. Have mercy on me. I receive Jesus as my Lord and personal Savior. I say no to Satan and all his works, and I embrace Jesus as my Lord. Satan, I have no business with you anymore. In the name of Jesus. Holy Spirit, come into my heart. Fill me, that out of my belly shall flow rivers of living water. Thank you, Father, for I am born again in Christ Jesus. For those who said it while we are seated and those in front of me, Father, I thank you for these ones. They have just said yes to you. I ask Jehovah that you will hold them in the palm of your hands. As you have given meaning to a life like this, that one would have thought nothing would have come out of. I ask that you also give a meaning to their lives. In the name of Jesus. Show them kindness that they will never go back to the world. Let them grow in you and through you. Let them become everything you've ordained them to be on earth. And may he be well with them on earth. So shall it be. In Jesus' mighty name I pray. Please just go to his side. Oh, sorry. I misdirected you. Okay. Before I just go take my seat, it is very customary of us, because this program is actually a quarterly thing. We couldn't do it for the first quarter because of the elections, but thank God we have the opportunity to do it now. And now that it's done, what we normally would do is to give as businesses back to the person who gave them to us. So, on tomorrow, on Sunday, at 7 a.m., during the course of the service, we'll be invited, have the CEOs come there, because you're not part of us now, okay, to come and rededicate our business to God, so that God can bless what we do, God can bless our jobs, whatever it is, our chosen career, and for the remaining part of the quarter. I want you to join me in doing that tomorrow. Is that okay? Is that okay? Is that okay? Is that okay? All right, let's celebrate Jesus for that. want to say that we normally have two services though. The 6 a.m. and the 7 a.m. But I think you come for 7. Okay, and then just go with us with that. Is that okay? So I'm looking forward to that. Thank you for sharing today with me. I have enjoyed you, and I hope you've enjoyed me as well. Thank you very much indeed. God bless you.
Please give it up for our mama. If it is not mama, it cannot be mama. Awesome. The clapping is not resounding enough. Put those hands together. What a time, and what a moment. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Very quickly, we'll be able to, please take your seat. We'll be able to take the chairman's, the executive chairman, Oritsejafor local government's remark. But just before that, Mr. Chairman, sir, permit me to recognize the presence of Mrs. Irene Okwara, the relationship manager, Union Bank. Please put those hands together for her. And of course, very distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we also have with us this evening the CEO of Melcott Limited, Mr. Emobosa Onatiri. Please help me appreciate him. Put those hands together. You're welcome, sir. You're welcome, sir, wherever you are. Thank you very much. And of course, one or two other dignitaries in our midst who recognize your presence. Time will not permit us. It is on this note, very distinguished ladies and gentlemen, please help me receive our own dear executive chairman, Oritsejafor, and of course, Honorable Michael TD. Put those hands together even as it comes. We recognize your entourage. Please, time will not permit us to make mention of it. Thank you.
Thank you, Pastor. Praise the Lord. Praise Master Jesus. Mama, I want to thank you for this opportunity. Trust me, I've been looking forward to this day to stand before you again and say thank you, not just for this program, but for all you've been doing for Oritsejafor local governments. Well, let me recognize the economic heads that are here. What's it called? Managers of banks, my big brother, my big friend, the director where I worked before, the Super Deck. And of course, our pastors that are here present, the beautiful faces I'm seeing. Wafarians, I greet you all. Members of the press, ladies and gentlemen. Mama, I'm really short of words, but again, as a public servant, it behoves on me to say a word or two before leaving. While I was sitting there, I was taking some notes in my phone. And of course, at the same time, I was looking around, looking at some persons who were taking notes. Although I saw so many just listening. What I told myself is this: I hope this audience, they know what they are getting or what is being dispensed to them today. Because I know so many persons that pay fortune to go to Lagos Business School. What we've gotten here today is way more packaged or better packaged than what we have in Lagos Business School. You see, Mama, I want to thank God for your life. If we have other women of God joining hands with you, to give back to society the way you're doing, I believe this worry, the narrative we've been pushing, would have come true even before now. But again, I know we're going to get there with people like you. I will not fail to appreciate our Papa. I will not fail. The worry of my dream that prompted me to go into politics at a very young age. My guy is here. He knew when I turned in my resignation. I was just 30. There was so much money where I was. I said no, I needed to go into the murky waters of politics to contribute my quota to nation building. But before then, I've always listened to Papa. There's this passion. Papa is passionate about worry. And of course, that was why the first, which is the maiden Warrior Economic Summit, I had to come to Papa to personally invite him. And Papa was there. Well, let me bore you more with words. Mommy, I want to thank you for this. And I want to encourage all of us to get the materials. Like myself, I've gotten not just this section, I got the one of last year. Because wisdom requires that when value is being passed on you, you make good use of it. This is value. She has imparted knowledge to us. All you need in life are words. When God was creating this world, the Bible says that God said, words has been spoken, but what are we going to make out of it? I see business owners here. What we do in government is to create the enabling environment for business activities to thrive. SME, as we all know, is what is needed, for our economy to be back on track. I'm an economist. I'm a doctor of economics. I can tell you that what I've heard here today, I don't think we were taught in our PhD class while we are listening to our lecturers. This is practical. That's what I'm trying to say. It's not the theoretical part of it. So I want to thank every one of you that took our time to be here, especially the business owners, even those, the aspiring business owners. Please brood on these things. Put it to work. Go back to your notes, the materials that will be distributed. Get hold of the word. Practicalize it and see your business blossom. I want a better worry. Trust me. I look forward to a better worry. Mama, we are planning the second Warrior Economic Summit. And it's going to be bigger, better than the one we had. We had some gains, man. What we tried to do then was to push, to step up the advocacy, to see that the moribund worry pot, is rejected. As I speak with you, so much is happening. CFAS won the concession of a section of the port. As I speak with you, they are bringing their stuffs into NPA. And of course, Dredging Nigeria is already dredging, the river, the water, right from Escribo, the Escribo's bar and what have you. You see, yeah. It's something that we should be, if you remember NPA of old, when NPA was alive, I was a baby, the economy of worry boomed. It is our hope, our prayers that worry economy will boom again. And that's exactly what Mama is doing. Please, this is not a talk shop. A lot has been invested in us. I want to urge you to practicalize all that is being taught here. And above all, she has called on us, especially the CEOs, to bring before God, I think tomorrow, all that you have, which means your business. I that is standing here, I don't need to wear the toga of a man of God for you to know that I believe in God. Whatever I am today is by the special grace of God. Nobody gave me the opportunity, but God gave me the opportunity. And I pray that your business blossom in Jesus' mighty name. Mama, please, I want to beg, the next edition, please, let us be part of I believe I should still be in government. Let's be part of it, because the publicity, because there are so many persons out there who are looking forward to such an opportunity. People pay fortune to get this information. I saw one guy that called himself executive farmer. He's a friend. Okay, my brother, how are you? This is a man that believes so much in packaging. I've been following him on social media. He's a farmer and he's so proud of what he's doing. He's a wise man. Rather than, be on the net abusing politicians, abusing themselves, this young man is here today listening, for he has listened to you, and I believe we'll be able to push, his business forward. And of course, he gave his life to Christ. Yeah. My brother, you've done the right thing. Yes, this is Chief Executive Farmer. Thank you. You see, this is the future of worry. We are tired of having my contemporaries going about begging for alms. We are tired. We are tired. When you see young people like this, I'm older than him, but I'm encouraged that at least we have other persons who are taking the cue from what we are doing. People like us, we resent begging. When I was growing up, even opposite the church here, when I returned from University of Port Harcourt, then as an undergraduate, I do sit in my mother's shop. People call me sales boy, but I knew the knowledge I got from there. Not just that, I knew how to make good use of opportunities. Mama, I have learned a lot today, and you said something, and I'm taking it home, which has to do with perception. You are of the view, man, that, if, the perception, if you don't correct the maybe wrong perception someone has about you, it defeats the fact. It defeats the fact. Some person sees us because we are brave. Of course, when you have God, you must be brave. They just believe we are arrogant, we are pompous, because we dare to be different. So, Mama, having listened to you today, I think it's high time we start telling those people, especially those who think we are too arrogant, that it is because of the big God that we have that makes us to do what we do. If you have God, you have it all. That is the truth. Mama, don't take your time more than this. I really appreciate you. Mama, we love you so much. My children, they are better persons today. Yes, they were in other school while they were in Asaba. Then I was essay to the governor before God graciously gave me this opportunity. But I can tell you that today, my daughter especially, have seen the transformation in her life. Because, like you rightly said, ma, I was on the verge of taking those kids from the school when you stepped in. Today, those kids, they are so bold, so courageous. When you hear them speak, you know that these are Mama's children. So, Mama, we are grateful to you. I pray that God increase you in grace. And I pray that those of us who are drinking, who are feasting from you, that grace that God has bestowed on you, that will be partakers of those grace. God bless you richly, man. God bless you. Thank you.
I think this is inspiring, and we may want to just add to the PhD, Reverend Dr. Honorable Michael Chidi, our own Executive Council Chairman. God bless you, sir. It's going to have a brief photograph session with our mama. All right. I think while that is going on, please, NK, what do we have next?
All right, the legislating house of Orissa local government, where are they?
He actually came, yes, with some councillors.
The councillors?
They are here, ma'am.
So announce it.
Councillors and the chairman's entourage, please. Members of the Warri South Council Chairman entourage, specifically Honorable Festus Philip Awani, Councillor representing Ajamuwa Ward, Ukeme Peter, Private Secretary to Chairman, and of course Mr. Kenneth George. All right, while that is going on, NK, please.
All right, while the pictures are going on, we'll be moving on to the next item on the program. And we're going to be doing this back to back. We're going to be combining all the remaining items together. Now, if you have questions, you have listened to Mama, she has taught us today. If you have questions you want to ask, feel free to either you write them down in a piece of paper, or you can feel free to, indicate by lifting up your hands and we'll get to you. If you have questions you would love to ask Mama today, please put them down, or you can indicate by raising up your hands. And while that is going on, we're going to be having refreshments. If you look to the two sides, left and right, you will see a beautiful corner right there. And thank God we have a demarcation. So the people this way, you are directed towards that table for your refreshments. Likewise, the people this way, you are directed towards that the corner right there for your refreshments. And while that is going on as well, it won't be wise of you to leave here without getting the contact of someone. You never can tell who will be your next business partner. So make sure you feel free to network. Feel free to exchange numbers, exchange complimentary cards, exchange anything you want to exchange, but make sure you meet someone new today and just say hi. And you know how it goes, you never can tell, they might just be your business partner tomorrow. So please, let's get on with this. First of all, if you have a question to ask Mama, feel free to put them down on a piece of paper.
Very distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we would like to recognize the very presence of Mrs. Kende Ogbe, ni Oritsejafor. Please put those hands together for her. God bless you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for coming.
We appreciate your presence.
We appreciate you. All right, so please, if you've got questions, feel free to either you raise your hand. Okay, great. Yes, we've talked about it. Either you raise up your hands or you put them down in a sheet of paper. We have one person with a question already. And I said earlier that there are two corners on the left and right. So these people this way, you are mandated to move that way for your refreshments. And these people this way, you are mandated to move that way for your refreshment. And that's going to be table by table.
Now, don't leave this food because I'm not going to be the one to eat it alone. Please get up and go and eat. Mwah!
Thank you so much, Mommy, for that reiteration. All right, quickly, we have Miss Patricia here. She's got a question. Please come forward.
While Miss Patricia is coming, we have Mr. Abodunde Felix, the director.
Okay.
Multilinks.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
My name is Patricia Brotubare, popularly known as the Nigerian mobile educator. Okay, whenever I go for, let me call this summit now, the education sector is usually neglected. Please, I need us to readdress that, because being an educator, in all this, education is paramount. I remember when Mr. Jollof was campaigning on social media, I had to go behind one of the comments and make him understand that focus should be on education sector, please. So my question goes like this. I'm an edupreneur. I'm a convener of educational seminars, workshop. Okay, I need help in Delta State. Being a traveling educator, I've observed that our mindset here is actually fixed. The South and Southeast. If I travel to places like Lagos, Abuja, the response they give to edupreneurs is really impressive than our own counterparts in Delta State precisely. So we need help from Mama and corporate organizations in Delta State. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm sure Mama wants to say something.
I do not think it's a question really, but to rather say, fine, we'll look into that and we'll see how best we can be of help. But it's really a pleasure having you in here today. God bless you. See you tomorrow, though. Good.
Ladies and gentlemen, just to mention, we have the branch manager of Sterling Bank Nigeria Limited, Mr. Richard Assi, is in the house. Please, thank you for coming. We recognize your presence. Yes, Enki, please.
Okay, I have a question here, but before I take the question, this is just to remind you that we have materials for the second and third edition on sale for 2,000 Naira. If you look around, you'll see them around. Please make sure you purchase them. It will so much bless you. And if you, peradventure, you don't have cash in hand, we have our POS, so you can use your card and get your materials. Very important. Okay, I have a question here. Having a business concept about your business, how do you establish when the fund you have is so smaller, not big enough? What do you do? I'll take it again. Having a business concept about your business, how do you establish when the fund you have...
When you haven't money.
Yes.
Enough money.
Yes.
And well, the best answer to this is to encourage you to start from what you have. I really frown at people thinking that they need to have millions to enable them start anything. If you don't know how to manage something small, when it goes big, it will become a great challenge for you. A lot of organizations can function when it remains small, but by the time it grows, it outgrows their capacity, and it becomes a great challenge, and then of course it flops at the end of the day. So no matter how small that money is, deploy it into the business you intend to do and continue to grow it. At the end of the day, believe you me, you'll be one of the gurus in terms of business tomorrow. Don't lose hope. Push on. However, I need to do a little detour here. With the little money as well, if you think that is, you can also approach a bank. You can approach a bank and ask for more. But I always encourage that you start with the little you have, so that you can understand the business sense or the business model of what you've embarked on, and then you can succeed in it at the end of the day.
Thank you very much, Ma. Please, can you put your hands together for our mother for that great answer? Okay, any other person with a question, please just signify by raising up your hand, or you put them down in the paper.
Right,
okay,
so yes, please just later just indicate by signify by waving your hands. All right, while we're waiting for that,
we have someone here.
We'd like to recognize the presence of Mr. Abudunde Felix, the Director, Multi Harris Printing Press Warri. God bless you, sir. Thank you. You're welcome. Yes.
All right, tell us your name and your question.
All right, my name is Jenkins Akakoro. I'm a professional cleaner. Now, my question is, Mama said there is a face in every brand. How? I need a clarification, ma. Thank you.
There is a face in every brand. For example, the way you start your brand today is not the way it's going to be 10 years to come. It is so vitally important for you to be innovative enough and be current with your environment and your customers at large to be able to tweak and remodel your brand to suit your customers or customers to be. If you do not embrace that, you believe that, okay, this is what you've been doing as it was in the beginning, so shall it be, you will be driven out of market. So you need to continue to rebrand, and of course, you need to continue to rigid. Now, with your cleaning business, there are so many things you can add to it that will encourage patronage. For example, if you have not been doing delivery system that most don't do, you can introduce that into what you do. And that will create a difference for you right now, right there and there. Or perhaps, there isn't time. There's so many things I was going to say today. But in any case, thank God we're still much alive and we'll be able to continue to educate ourselves. But see, you just need to continue to improve on your brand to meet the needs in the market world.
Yes, the next speaker. Good evening. This is Bridget Tofia.
I have a very crucial question. Good evening, Mommy. I've been in the education line for 20 years, though I've been doing development work alongside education, and now I've zoomed fully into development work. I'm managing a project for an international group called Search for Common Ground as a project manager. It's a very complicated project because the perception is very different. We're doing a project that wants to change the mindset of people to know that beyond the differences we have, that's Fulani herdsmen and pastoralists. Yes, it's a very deep one. So it's not just about them being violent, but it's also about them trying to survive. And the name of this project is Sharing the Green Grass. You know, we're just doing community entry. It's tough. Because people will tell you they are mercenaries. They were sent here to come and kill us. Madam, you cannot be telling us about sharing the green grass. What are we sharing? They should stay in the north. Mom, for me, this is my Harvard. Some of us have the opportunity. I've missed only one edition of the COE and company. So much to learn. Those testimonies will come. Time will not be. What do you begin to do about people's perception? Because it's very deep.
Well, the dichotomy between the Hausa Fulani and then, of course, the pastoral, it's a very serious one. I think the name of it all is called trust. It's like you're trying to build trust between these two entities. But the first thing that needs to happen, okay, is to individually engage them separately. Number one, with the Hausa Fulani so-called, you have to first and foremost register what their counterpart feels about them, because it's extremely important. Every time we talk about what is going on, the mayhem that is being committed by those people, they don't seem to have a full grasp because it's not being done to them. They are the ones doing it. So the need to let them know foremost that, see, this is how we feel in the West. This is how pastors feel about you. These are the reasons why they're a little bit, skeptical about your person and who you are. And what do you think you can do to change that, since you are not all in the same line? Because it's not all of them are into ham carrying and all that stuff. So what do you want to do differently to show to these other people that of a truth you are willing to embrace them in totality? So with that, you'll be able to know the strategy to use, and it comes with, of course, encouraging intermarriage relationship, going to the same school. If these organizations can just organize, have adult education class, adult education now, where they would be mandatory to sit together and get tutored, letting them know the importance of education, and by them coming together and all that will go a long way in helping us. If you remember, when we had a Warri crisis, it was really terrible then, and quite a lot of companies were just taken to flight in Warri then. But we thought about just the need to not just have a convention that is spiritual, bringing in guest speakers just to come and speak to us and so on. We moved further and said, okay, let's have a trade fair where the Ijors will come, the Shakiris will come, and every other tribe will be present. That way, no one is going to say, I'm not a part of it. And we started the unity cake, and thank God, you were one of those who used to prepare the cakes then and all that. And they will cut it together. And before you know it, by interaction, okay? Because then when we're talking about, oh, they are coming. They look like masquerade that that people refer to as spirits that cannot be seen. But by the time that is unveiled
and they have a forum where they can interact, gradually it will create a melting pot, and then it will allow them to be able to see each other face to face and engage. The other aspect that I also would want to say is to be able to have your peace resolution conferences and all that, where you can invite all of them, starting with the leaders. Because if you can get the leaders to be with you, automatically the followers will also follow suit and more. Okay? All right.
Thank you very much, Mommy. All right, we have another question here.
All right, but just before that question, we'd like to quickly also recognize the presence of Mr. Duke Okoko, all the way from Port Harcourt of Fartex Limited. Thank you for coming. And just by the way, we have two forms in circulation, sponsorship form or partnership form, as well as another one. Please, if you've been given one, attend to it. If you've not been given one, just request for it, and of course, we'll hand it over to you. Thank you. Yes, please, over to you.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
I want to say I'm very grateful to God to be here this afternoon. I actually came for the wedding, and when I heard that Mommy is going to have a meeting with certain people today, I decided to be around. And I want to say, Mommy, I'm so grateful to God for having you in our time. I want to say I love you. You are so wonderful. This is my first time of meeting with you, seeing you face to face, and this is my first time of sitting under your teaching. I want to say I would like you to be a mentor to me in my business. My question is, for instance, you said we should place ourselves on a salary. In a situation where your business is growing, and even no matter how much little you take from it, it's not even enough. What I mean is, you have to still take money from somewhere else to add into the business. What can we do?
Thank you very much indeed. Well, sweetheart, it's my pleasure. I love you. I'm hoping to see you tomorrow, though, in church. Okay? God bless you. Now, giving an answer to the question, I want to ask you one. And that question is, when you hadn't money, when you didn't have that business at all, weren't you surviving? Yes, you were. You were. We always think that whatever we have in terms of our business is never enough. But that's not true. If you really want to sincerely grow your business, then you have to make up your mind to have a savings culture as an habit. If you do not know how to put something aside and pay yourself outside of what you are doing, before you know it, you start dabbling into that money, and that money will fizzle out. It doesn't matter how much of money you have, it can also finish. Or should I say, you can, it can just go like that. Okay? So, it is important, even though you're still struggling, and I always say, even when I was there as a young lady trying to grow my business, I would sometimes say to myself, if I haven't this money, I can still survive. There was a time I didn't have the money anyway, and I still survived. So now that I have this money, no matter what, all I need to do is to cut my coat, as it were, according to my cloth, not my size though, and see how I can manage myself. At the end of the day, the salad you want to eat and the beautiful clothes and shoes, you can do that. But just don't, pay forward. Just pay forward. Don't eat your future today.
Thank you so much, Mommy.
Thank you very much. Awesome. We have 2 serving points, one to my immediate right and another one to my immediate left. So please make use of the 7 points. Do not be left out of the refreshment. All right, we'd like to take the next speaker. All right, please introduce yourself briefly, and of course the question.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
Right, good evening.
Mommy, I love you. My name is Helen Mwemeke. Each time I see you, I see myself. Amen. You are my role model. I like to see your face. Even when I'm passing through Ajamora, I want to see Mama Helen, because I am Helen as well. Praise the Lord. We are great people. Praise the Lord. Amen. Yes, I have this, God gave me talent on how to produce spices, natural spices, food that heals. God gave me that insight to put one or two things together that you will eat and you get well, you get okay. I am actually one of the participants of this ongoing trade fair. I have a stand there. Praise the Lord. And my products they are selling. It's fantastic. Amen. And what I need now is, direction on how to properly package it to suit the market. Though it's in the market as well, but I want it to fly higher. Praise the Lord. Amen.
Well, I think you're already on a very right path. The fact that you've been able to discover your thick point, which is the product itself. But the aspect of presentation, which is packaging, and that's what you're asking. All right? Now, look at it this way. Why is it that I would rather buy Panadol when I can easily take bitter leaf and every other thing? It's called what? Yeah, I know it's packaging, but I'm looking for some. It's called health. Branding. Branding is part of it. Yes? Yeah? Safety. Safety. I am sure that if I take Panadol, he's not just going to treat my headache, but then I am sure that he's not going to kill me either. And that is the key word with herbal product, because herbal products, it's something, that is naturally made, but then there are other things that has to do with it. The number one thing is making sure that you get your NAFDAC number, okay, because that will, reassure your customers that when they take the product, they are not going to take ill as a result of that. That's very important. Number two is to also see how you can come up with, reduce it if it's going to be a tablet form or a powder form or anything, and make sure that it's done in such a way that is labeled to indicate all the things, the functions, the things that it can do to you, how it can make you well, there's not going to be a side effect at the end of the day if I decide to take this drug, and so on and so forth. When you're able to identify that, your NAFDAC is key, because that is a stamp on the product to say that it's safe. And then the next thing is to let me know, but don't put it in nylon, okay? Don't put it in nylon. Go to the market, look for, there are different nice containers now that people use. Even some of these things, you can what's it called? You recycle some of these bottles and so on that people discard, and then see how you can, at least start from there. See how you can, take them up, clean them up nicely, and then wrap your message around it, which I call story. So that when people see it, they see the same product that they would have gotten for XYZ that has a side effect, and with the information on top will tell me that, hey, I'm safe, I can take this, and I'll be well. Okay? At the end of the day, you will hit your market and you bring in lots of money. Congratulations.
Thank you very much, Mommy. We have another question.
All right, the next question, please. Over to you, sir.
Not really a question.
Okay, sir.
It's more to talk about the question raised by the sister earlier. Mama, I want to thank you for organizing this program. You talked about 22 years ago. I want to remind you about your sermon in Düsseldorf. Show me a token for good. That was Mama's sermon 22 years ago in Düsseldorf in Germany. I still remember that sermon. And the whole place was set on fire. After 22 years, you are still a mama. God bless you, ma. But quickly, I want to contribute something, mama, in what you have said earlier. Now, you see, the sister who spoke earlier that people are scared that the Fulani man is coming to kill us. It's a genuine fear. Because the Quran says, if you are not a believer, you should be killed. So, I mean, I have the privilege now to talk authoritatively because I think I might have traveled more villages, more town in the north recently than herself. Because now, until our leaders are able to come to a term with them, to say, look, this is the way we work. And if you don't work this way, no way. Then we are not able to do so because the teaching of the Quran is straightforward. As an unbeliever, you should be killed. And that is when you go to Jannah. Everybody wants to go to heaven. That's one part. The other part says, exactly. The other part, Mama says, that which is the book of Revelation now, and which the Quran cherish so much, that there are few people. I saw these thousands going, and they feel that the space, that means the space is few. So, why not we take this space? And the way to be sure of this space is to kill you and become a martyr so I can go to heaven. So, if this teaching is there, do you think you need to be careful or not?
My name is Mama Helen Oritsejafor, the chairman of Eagle Fly Microfinance Bank and the founder of the CEO's Company with Mama Helen Oritsejafor. The whole essence of this is to see how we can narrow the gap that is existing in the corporate world. After 30 years of being there, I have seen a gap. And through the CEO's Company with Mama Helen Oritsejafor, this is to allow us to close this gap. Why is it that there isn't sustainability, business sustainability in Nigeria? Why is it that in the Western world you have companies